Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here and choosing our session. Um, let's first introduce myself a little bit more. I'm Robbie Pauwels. I'm information manager at the Free University of Brussels. I lead the Pure team. The Pure team consists of two admins and two analysts within our team. And one of the admins is Scarlett, and she's sitting here also with us tonight. Scarlett does the management for the research output of researchers within the university. So we're going to talk about two classification schemes, the VODS codes, the Flemish Discipline codes. They are based on the OECD research codes. That's actually a typo, so sorry for that. It's OECD research areas, and they change every 5 years within the Flemish government. The Flemish government is a small government within the Belgian government. Then you have the Fin codes. Those are the funding codes for the Flemish government, and they are constantly changing all of the time. So we need to implement those changes also into Pure. So I'm going to leave the word now to Scarlett. Thank you.
Mag ik de pointer? Ja, dank u. Voilà. So as Robbie said, every 5 years, a new list of VODS codes is provided by the Flemish government. So we had two options of getting these into Pure. So the first option was to create a completely new classification scheme of VODS codes in Pure. So the old next to the new, and then retroactively changing codes that drop and change due to mappings. The second option is that we keep the current list and start adding end dates. So the old list, the old codes are closed, and those new codes are just put in that old list with no end dates. But this option is quite complex because then you are going to mix two lists, and on top of that, our FRIS, our Flemish government, has a hard time keeping this combined list, because they do not have the possibility to keep the codes in their system for longer than a year to a year and a half. And then they are going out of Pure anyway, and we would be stuck with those old codes in our Pure lists. So to no one's surprise, during our stakeholders meeting, it was very clear that the first option would be our best option. Of course, that transition had to be managed because there are two major types of changes that can happen within codes. That can be a one-to-one change, so the codes change to another. We simply map this with a query. And we also have a one-to-n change, so that codes gets multiple options, but here a choice has to be made which of these n options is going to replace that old code. In this slide, I'm showing you the consolidation file we received from Hasselt University, who was the lead in this project, in which those one-to-n relations are listed with totals. I'm not sure if you can really see it, but for example, we have statistics. So in the first list, the first column, you see the old code, and then in the third column, the 13 new codes. Yeah, another analysis was also made by Hasselt University and shared with the Flemish universities of what impact this is having now. So we do the changes on persons, organizations, and projects. So they made an analysis for these three subjects to see how much of a change that would be for us. So as you can see here in the last column, for projects that was 4%, for persons 8%, and for organizations 3%. There are three types of one-to-n codes changes. So type 1 is that there has to be decided between one or the other, because the old code talks about one and the other together, but now they are split up. So for an example, the old code, sociology and anthropology, used to be 0504, but now in the new codes, we have 0509 sociology and 0510 anthropology. So just used to be one, now there's two. So then the next one-to-n change is that there are multiple codes for one given code. So this is a little bit different from the other change where you really had a breakdown. This one just assigns a completely new code. For the last and third type, this type housed the leftovers of the old file. So, for example, codes starting with other, not elsewhere classified, etc. These got way better defined in the new list. So now for the last 3 slides regarding the VODS, we are going to look at what we'll do with project organizations and researchers from the past, the present, and from the future. So let's start with the past. Oh, it says current. Okay, fine. Current. Our first option is that we as a knowledge institution do an analysis to make a proposal to the researchers, or we choose what is going to be decided, and then we make queries to make those changes. And the second, we simply add the codes, and the researchers can decide the selection themselves. And the last is that it just gets automatically mapped to other not else classified. So for the past, what will we do with past projects, researchers, and organizations where the new research codes can no longer be asked? That's where we'll choose the one to n change. So there's really no choice to be made, or it gets mapped to other and not else classified. And now for the new ones, they are just in pure, ready to be used as of January 2024. So that was it for the VODs, and I'll gladly pass on the presentations to Robbie.
Thank you, Scarlett. So now the FIN codes, in English it's the funding codes. They were created in the 1990s. And every Flemish university has the list of the FIN codes inside their internal database. We have one central expertise center called ECOOM, and they manage the list, and they send us messages when there are changes to the FIN codes, and then we need to make those changes. So how does a FIN code look inside Pure? It's actually a flat list. In the actual list managed by ECOOM, there is a hierarchy, but we did not take the hierarchy into Pure. The reason why is it gives us more flexibility to use the code, to add new codes, to change the codes. The URI of a FIN code looks like this. EWeto code is the old name of the FIN codes. We didn't change that yet, but it ends with the actual FIN code. We put the FIN codes on awards, and we also use it to deliver to the Flemish government, to FRIS. FRIS is the public portal for the Flemish government to display all of the scientific stuff going on in the Flanders to the public. But for FRIS, only money stream 2 and 3 is relevant. It's a whole different story what money streams are, but you just need to know that every FIN code is linked to money stream, and for FRIS, only 2 and 3 are relevant. So in the list, there are 700 codes at the moment on average. The new ones, when there is a new code, we just add them at the bottom because when you add a new classification, it goes all the way to the bottom, and you want to get it up, you need to push the little arrow all the way up. So we decided to just leave them at the bottom. But when you do the selecting, we chose to do a to Z selecting, so you get A to Z order. For the PUC.be, so we have a pure user community in Belgium, and we as a VUB, we are the largest institution within that community, so we are the chair. Every year we organize a meeting with those users, and within those meetings, the problem of the FIN codes came up, and there were people saying, we don't know what to do actually with the FIN codes. We don't know what they mean. So how can we add them to an award? And what was the best solution that we could come up with was just an ordinary Excel file. It sounds a little bit stupid, but we just created an Excel file that we shared with the whole user community. So this is the Excel file that we created. As you can see, the hierarchy is still within the Excel file, so not in Pure, it's in the Excel file. And what is also in the Excel file, so the first columns are the original data, the original codes from ECOOM. Then we added a proposed award type to every FIN code. So every PUC user in Belgium uses the same award type for the same fin code. The other columns is the need for a DMP, so a data management plan. Sometimes a fin code needs a data management plan, and that's also there in the file. We also have the KPIs. So sometimes a fin code has a KPI, like is there an ORCID, is there open science or open data available? And then the last columns are just extra information that we can add to the fin codes. We also have three tabs within the Excel file. So the first tab is the whole code with the historic data also. The second tab is just the fin codes that are still active at the moment. The third tab are the fin codes just to go to freeze. So when we do make a change, we need to make the change in the three tabs and also in the pure scheme. I see that I don't have a lot of time left, but it's okay. Yeah, so we use it also for filtering to freeze with the mapping. We don't map the fin codes that are not relevant to freeze. Sometimes there are errors made on the fin codes, so not a correct fin code is being put on the correct award type. Like for instance, a freeze relevant fin code is put on money stream 1. A fin code that deprecated in 2017 is on an award of 2018. How can we change that? We made an automatization within Microsoft Access that checks all of the awards within Pure automatically and adds them in a database of Microsoft Access. And the result is those are examples of fin code rules that are in the Microsoft Access query. Yeah, I would go a lot faster, sorry. The result of the Microsoft Access automatization is a file that we have and that we can communicate to the people who do the inputs, who make the errors. And within that file, you also have a focus of you make the same error a lot of times, just adjust it, and then we can have a great delivery to Friss. That was all. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to contact me, here are my stuff to contact me. And are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scarlett and Robbie. And it was a bit of a rush at the end, of course, but you made it. You made it. Thanks a lot for that. Any questions? Yeah.
Thank you. Very interesting and difficult to keep your enthusiasm going towards the end of the day, I'm sure. So well done, guys. The issue about changing any form of classification on things that are historic is a problem because it prevents longitudinal reporting across two coding schemes. So how have you handled that? Do you keep the original code and then put on the new code so you can report in either ways? It's just a really difficult problem philosophically to know what to do.
Yes, indeed. We need to have a lot of dialogue with the people concerning, with the stakeholders concerning this new classification. But we decided to not keep the historic data and have the information within the new classification.
You have to make a call either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. The argument would be that that code wasn't valid at the time the project was live, so how could it be coded against the coding scheme that didn't exist?
Yeah, there is no new codes then.
I really don't envy you doing this every 5 years, the VODS codes. So I was wondering if you change the code by query for the ones you have a one-to-one new code for, and the other ones the researcher has to choose. How long does the researcher have time before you run a report?
Yeah, it's about 6 months.
6 months,
yeah.
a real ultimatum.
Yeah.
And how many records have to be altered in those 6 months? Guess.
I have a guess. I don't have a number on that. Like it's like we can go back to the impact analysis.
Just wondering.
It's back to here. Onderzoekers, VUB. No, it's not. It's not that much. It's 270. So for researchers.
Any other question? And any tips maybe, because it's always any suggestions how to do this even easier?
We're a fairly new team, so any tips are welcome. Yeah.
Not only do every Flemish department who uses this code
Yes.
has this problem.
Yes, indeed, and it's
So you need to change the government.
yeah. That's a whole other question, indeed. Welcome to Belgium. Yeah.
So it's really just a comment. I mean, I'm interested you had to do things outside Pure in Access. And one of the things that springs to mind is I wonder whether the Pure team need to look at whether there's an ability for users to create custom translation tables to enable lookups between values in different fields and actually replace them. Because I guess one of the reasons you had to do this outside was because you couldn't do it inside.
Oh, indeed.
So it's an interesting challenge, isn't it, when you've got to take stuff out of Pure and bring it back in again, that if you're not careful, it can get a bit mashed in the process. So and a hard one for the development team, I know, but it's something that I think a lot of people are having to do, translating between certain things with custom lookup tables, one to many, many to one, or direct one to one.
A good question. I would also think that there should be a technical solution possible, I would say, but I'm not a technical guy, so it's really easy to say.
Yeah, of course it's something we could add support for, but we also have a pile of improvements we are waiting to do. So, yeah, I guess we have.
Now, or so is there something like that?
So I guess one thing you might be able to do is to, if you create a report with getting all of the keywords out, and then I know we have a bulk upload of keywords on the different content types. So I don't know if that could use, but you still need the mapping somehow. And you probably need to do that in Excel then or something like that.
The mapping is provided by us by the University of Hasselt. They do the mapping. They send us a consolidation file, and then we make the mapping and we make an import file for the job. Indeed.
Okay, so you are using that bulk import job to get it in after. Oh, okay,
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because you should be able then to use the bulk edit tables where you could run a report to see what's there, or use the back-end reporting just to say, give me all the publications with this code and this keyword subgroup, and then do a bulk edit with how you'd want to crosswalk it. But
It was a one-to-one
Right.
relationship, but not where code is split.
keeping it, yeah.
So you still need to wire some business logic in there rather than just direct code.
Yeah.
We get chat GPT to solve it.
Yeah. Just put it in there.
So what I actually think we should do, when I look at it, it looks very much what our Australian customers are going through with the FOR code, Field of
yeah.
Research codes. So talk to them. They might have some good ideas. I think Ashley's the only one from Australia here, but find her. Oh, yeah. So find them tonight at the dinner and get some input.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley. Her name is Ashley.
We can help you connect as well.
Okay. Graham. Okay.
Any final question? Everybody satisfied? Yes. All right. Thanks again for the wonderful
Thank you.
presentation.